Your heart is like a rubber band. When you give, it expands. You might reach the stars depending on how flexible you are. Oh, life is like an ocean. Everyone is floating. And if you wanna find the beach, you gotta start moving your feet. Love, but a reflection, yeah. It's a natural thing. Oh, every bit you create, you get back. Love, what a reflection. Yeah. Love, it's a natural thing. Oh, every bit you create, you get back. Hey, your mind is like a flower bed. Whatever you feed your head determines all your fate, whether you blossom or you suffocate. Now peace is like a pattern where every angle matters, and how you choose to see determines your functionality. Love, what a reflection, yeah. Love's a natural thing. Oh, every bit you create, you get back. Love, what a reflection, yeah. It's a natural thing. Oh, every bit you create, you get back. Hey.
Hey, I love that. Love, everything you give comes back. It's a natural reflection.
Truth.
Well, that's emanating itself by means of you this morning, Mr. James Harper. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Happy to be here. Happy to see
Happy to
y'all.
have you here. Thank you for giving such a great warm welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles as you kicked it off, singing that really fun song about love.
Always.
Good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. James Harper, who's acting as our music director today. He'll be back with us later in our service, carrying us through on some musical expressions for us to share. So thank you, James. And a good morning to each and every one of you. I am Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and I am the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. If you're joining us live via Facebook or Zoom, it is Sunday morning, February 21st in the year 2021. And we are here in this virtual space, as James spoke of just a moment ago, to come together to honor each and every individual of who they are on their spiritual journey. And it's a real honor and pleasure to have you here today, being one with us as we do that. And so once I get my screen in play here, we will get ourselves started. And so I know that you're in your perfect and right place just where you are, as each of us is today. My screen's bouncing around a little bit like I'm standing outside in these wild Southern California winds, but I'm actually safely ensconced in the privacy of my own home. So here we go. And so, as I said before, we are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and it's a joy and a pleasure and an honor to be with you here today as you join us on this journey over the next hour or so to come together and celebrate this happy day. This day where we have the opportunity to live in an expression of love. As we continue the theme of the month, love, let love lead the way, I invite you today to let go of anything that is going on in your life that seems to be contradictory to love, and let love be present. Love both as that human element, that eros love, if you will, that ability that we have from an emotional perspective to know love, to feel it, to express it, to give it, and to receive it. But let's move beyond that this morning and move into that love that is the agape love. It's the love of the divine. It's that infinite self-givingness of itself that gives us the opportunity to experience love in that very human way. And so as a community that's been coming together for over 30 years here in the land of Los Angeles, we come together to honor that spirit within each and every one of us and us collectively. And in so doing, we welcome all races, all ethnicities, all countries of origin, all gender identities, all sexual orientations, all abilities and all disabilities. We honor all spoken languages and all ages. For in essence, everyone is welcome into this virtual home known as the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. Our founding minister, Dr. David Walker, would say each and every Sunday morning this welcome and affirmation, and I invite you to say it with me as we kick off our service. We welcome one and we welcome all. So, who are we as a community? We're a community that we're known as a teaching community primary, as are most of the centers for spiritual living around the world. We teach predominantly the teachings of Dr. Ernest Holmes, who created a philosophy, a faith, a way of life that was then published in a book known as The Science of Mind. The essence of the science of mind is there's only one thing taking place. We look at that as one life, one love, one essence, one power, one God. That you and I are that one, fully expressed just as we are. You'll hear in this teaching oftentimes that you're perfect, you're whole, and you're complete just as you are. That's in that place of the agape love that exists within you and within me. It's there already. And so what we practice are tools, techniques to bring that out within each and every individual so that we as a collective on our planet, as well as individuals, evolve into a higher framework of consciousness because everything is all mind. And in so doing, because we live in a universe governed by spiritual law, will not only manifest and demonstrate, but attract back to us the very thing that we are, which is perfection, wholeness, completeness, whose qualities are peace and power, beauty and joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. And so as you and I continue to express those qualities of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom, we then attract back into our world the same, propagating more and more and more of that, fulfilling the vision statement that we as a community have, which is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And so our goal of coming together today, our objective is to support you and me and everyone on this planet in finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, focusing primarily on the spiritual awakening component of that. And as we do so, then the personal empowerment is just a byproduct of it. And so I know that's what unfolds for you and unfolds for me today as we share this time together. We open our service every Sunday morning and have for several years now with an opening ritual. And we do that today as well. And this ritual is called Calling in the Light. And as you look at the flickering flame of the candle on the screen, I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, and begin to see in the back of your eyelid, in your mind's eye, in the optic screen, this flickering flame. And trust and know that a resonance field is unfolding within each of us that reflects the light of the divine. And so today, as we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence we call spirit. The purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering this morning a conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we each possess as complete expressions of the divine. And so as we feel the vibrations shift during this experience of our time together in this ritual, may we become ever more aware of the light of life that exists in and as all expressions of life, which includes you and me. The affirmative prayer that I have for us this morning is by Rumi, the 13th century Persian poet. And as I state these words, I affirm that I state them for you as well, knowing that you claim them as your reality. I prayed for change, so I changed my mind. I prayed for guidance and learned to trust myself. I prayed for happiness and realized I am not my ego. I prayed for peace and learned to accept others unconditionally. I prayed for abundance and realized doubt kept it out. I prayed for wealth and realized it is my health. I prayed for a miracle and realized I am the miracle. I prayed for a soulmate and realized I am the one. And I prayed for love and realized it is always knocking, but I have to allow it in. And so, in the furthering of letting it in, James will come on the screen and guide us through our affirmative song of Calling in the Light. And the lyrics will be on the screen.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. I am love, I am peace in my heart, I am free, I am spirit, and I am soul, all together we are whole. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light of love. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
And so we each affirm that the light is present within us, and we allow it to guide us on this journey of life itself, letting love be the impetus from which we show up, shine, and give of our divinity. And so it is. Thank you, James. What a beautiful rendition and version of Calling in the Light. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very, very much. So our guest musician today is someone that is a vital piece and part of the CSL-LA family, as is James Harper as well. It's someone that you all know quite well and quite wonderful. She is just a gift unto herself. She's a joy. She's very talented. She always rocks our world with whatever song selections she's chosen for us. I'd like to welcome onto the screen Arnae Batson, as each and every one of you via Zoom and or Facebook has the opportunity to revel in the presence of this divine soul and divine being. Good morning, Arnae.
Good morning, Reverend Keith. It is always a pleasure and a blessing to be with you and the whole CSL-LA family. Thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. So, your first song today, can you tell us a little about it as you guide us into it?
Absolutely. It's a gospel classic because you know I get down like that.
I
It was
know.
revamped for the civil rights movement. It's a song that's designed to move. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Now, we sang this in my church. Is woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Jesus. It moved to freedom. Now it's moved to spirit. But the message still resonates. It's still a powerful song. And we can get our move on this morning. So this is
All
your
right, well,
shot.
get your move on. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Arnae Batson.
All right. Let's all take a breath and let's go. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Well, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Come sing with me. Hey, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Oh, I woke up this morning with my mind. It was stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on freedom. Well, I'm walking, talking with my mind stayed on freedom. I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Come on and walk, walk, come on and walk, walk, come on and walk, walk with your mind on freedom. Walk, walk, come on and walk, walk, come on and walk, walk with your mind on freedom. Whoa, walk, walk, hey, walk, walk, come on and talk, talk, come on and talk, talk it, come and talk, talk with your mind. Talk, talk, come on and talk, talk with your mind on freedom. Whoa, whoa, talk, talk, come on and talk, talk. We know it ain't no harm in keeping your mind stayed on freedom. Well, it ain't no harm in keeping your mind, keep your mind stayed on freedom. It ain't no harm in keeping your mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Come on, walk, walk. You wanna walk, walk. Come on and walk, walk. Yeah, yeah. Come on and walk, walk. Come on and walk, walk with your mind on freedom. Whoa, oh, oh, walk, walk. Come on and walk, walk. You know I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Good morning.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I, d- I'm from a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you. It brought back so many memories for me as you were singing that song. One, just this morning, watching a beautiful tribute to John Lewis, who literally walked, and marched numerous times,
He
focused
walked
on
the walk and
freedom.
he talked the talk. He walked the
He
walk and
walked the
talked
walk and he talked the talk. And It also reminded me of my days growing up in the South in Southern Baptist churches when there would be songs such as that sung, and with the hallelujahs screamed from around the the room, the tent or the room. How wonderful. But it also, as I was processing you singing those beautiful lyrics and so beautifully, um, that when that spiritual, that hymn song, that chant was being sung, the concept of freedom was a literal freedom, right?
Absolutely.
So literal
Absolutely.
freedom. And so I think in just this moment, it would be wonderful that we all just acknowledge that journey of any individual that ever sang that song on that journey of finding, living in hope, the eternal optimum hope of having literal freedom. So during this Black History Month, let's just honor each and every one of those individuals. So thank you, Arne, for that choice.
I concur. Thank you so much.
Yeah, superb as always. Thank you. So Arne will be joining us in a latter part in the service to bring another song for us that will touch our heart and our soul. And I know that that one touched your heart as it did mine. I was singing and a dancing and walk from where I am sitting here in my home office as our service is unfolding. And so we'll move now into my message today, which will continue in this vein of freedom. And the freedom that we're going to look at right now. Yes, hold on just a second. There we go. Is to continue on the journey of letting love lead the way. That is our theme for the month of February in the year 2021, to let love lead the way. And so I invite you, as we just did, to not only put yourself in the mindset of those individuals walking for freedom, either as that has been enslaved for years or during the civil rights movement, just marching for freedom, for legal rights, and to be able to act in that way. But so many others on our planet have walked seeking to find freedom in life. From a spiritual perspective, we have been taught and learn on a continual basis that complete freedom is within you and I in the sense of how we use our mind, how we use that imaginative aspect of spirit that is within us to connect to the spiritual truth of who we are, to use tools and techniques to evolve our mind in an expansive way with the ultimate objective of reflecting our divine nature. And as stated earlier, within our divine nature are the qualities of peace and power, beauty and joy, light, life, and love and wisdom. Now, we are processing this in the modern day 21st century manner with having multitudes of opportunities to connect with spirit in a new way, which is both a blessing and in some ways, as I will speak of that this morning a little bit later, may be a curse. But let's begin this morning by looking at the charge that we have had each Sunday so far in the month of February for love. Love being broken down as let's let love lead the way. Let's O, open your heart to love. And V, view everything with love. And E, embrace love and life. To embrace love and life. This morning, my objective, my goal is to embrace love and life in a new way through the eyes of Rumi, the Persian poet. I used Rumi as a for the prayer that we began this morning in our Calling in the Light service. In modern day metaphysics, we hear a lot about Rumi, the 13th century poet. Rumi's official name is Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Rumi, and he was more popularly just simply known, certainly in the modern world, as Rumi. Rumi was a 13th century Persian poet. He was born in September 30th, 1207, and died December 17th, 1273. In addition to being a poet, Rumi was an Islamic scholar, a Maturidi theologian, and a Sufi mystic, originally from Greater Khorasan, or which is in Greater Iran. I love Rumi as it's been translated into English because it's so incredibly provocative in its calling for you and I to awaken to our spiritual nature and to do that through the um, understanding and lens of the oneness of life. And so this morning on our journey of my using Rumi quotes to stimulate, excuse me, the message for us this morning, I invite you to open up and just allow yourself to be in the presence of the oneness of life and to give yourself the space to think of what it would have been like in the 13th century, in the year 1200 BC, in Greater Iran, living a life as a gay man, as it was believed Rumi was, and there's been many writings about his love for the man, specifically one in particular. But what it must have been like at that time to seek out a greater spiritual understanding of who the individual is as a spiritual being, but who are we all? And what are we here to do? The first quote from Rumi is this: life is a balance between holding on and letting go. I know for myself, as I'm sure for each one of you, that the last year specifically has been one of selectively letting go and releasing not only our expectations of what is unfolding around us and in us and through us, but a letting go of this deep connection to our history and our past, realizing that as change is continually making itself known to us and through us and as us, that we must then lean onto the very thing that we're being called to hold on to. I believe that is our faith, that is our integrity of understanding who and what we are as a divine being. It's that listening to that power within us, letting it guide us as opposed to using our human monkey mind trying to control what's taking place in life itself. It's really all about this balance of holding on and letting go, of putting into action on a daily basis the vision statement for the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, which is the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. I find it to be no mistake that if you look at the teachings of Dr. Ernest Holmes and that which we practice, when we use the greatest tool and technique that he's given us, known as spiritual mind treatment, one of the key steps to that is release. It's letting go of an attachment that we have as to what things are supposed to look like and feel like. And so as you and I become more and more spiritually awakened, we do indeed find a personal self-empowerment, an empowerment with the self. S, the self with a little s, meaning the empowerment for us as individuals, but also we tune in to the power of the self with that uppercase S, that power that is the union that exists as the life of the divine that is expressing itself through us. It's that incomparable, infinite power that is expressing itself through you, for it is you and it is me. And it's also the power that is creating all of life itself. And so today I encourage you to become more aware of what is it that you are holding on to while listening to and acknowledging the need to let go. Rumi tells us that yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. But today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself. That act of living in wisdom, one of the qualities of the divine, of changing oneself, comes about as we choose to live in a state of revelation, a divine revelation which is defined as the act of God whereby it discloses to man, the human, what would otherwise be unknown, not meaning that doesn't exist in the mind of the divine, but it has not become awakened to the individual. And so as you and I realize that we're not here to change the world in an external way, our role as we walk on this journey of self-empowerment in life itself is to line ourselves up with our divine power and allow it to guide us on this journey of knowing who and what we are as divine beings. Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind says, in regards to this deeper union, we should daily feel a deeper union with life, a greater sense of that indwelling God, the God of the seen and of the unseen within us. What we're being told here is that as we continue on this journey of changing ourselves, it doesn't make what we've done in the past bad or wrong, but to learn how to hold that in the proper perspective. I know that on my own personal life, there's been a journey of working diligently to change the world. I've done that through my ministry for years. But as I've evolved into this greater understanding of who and what I am as a divine being, I've realized that it's not about changing the world so that the world is changed. It's about sharing my light, shining my light, not from a place of ego, but to help stimulate within others an awakening of the light that is there for them. And that has been made exemplified through my work in Malawi and my work with the teens and the work that we do here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. And I'm very clear that that's not unfolding from an egoic perspective. It is from an alignment of the divine within me. And so I encourage you today to tune in to how you've gotten to where you are right now. And is your goal, is your calling, attempting to change the external? Or is it to live from a place of wisdom, of changing the self? Meaning ridding yourself of anything and everything that is contrary to your divine nature, and then trusting that the law of life will do its part as it always does in revealing your consciousness out into the external, so that we can take a vision, a viewpoint of what's taking place within us. Rumi tells us in the next quote, "My soul is from elsewhere. I'm sure of it, and I intend to end up there." The soul. What is the soul he's speaking of? In the book, The Science of Mind, Dr. Ernest Holmes defines the soul as the creative medium of spirit, the subjective side of life, the mirror of mind, for it reflects the forms of thought which are given it. What he's telling us is that thing within us that responds by corresponding is from elsewhere, meaning out of the ethers of the creative universe, out in the cosmos of the universe. I'm sure of that, Jalad Muhammad Rumi tells us. And that I intend to end up there, meaning that as we continue on this journey of our spiritual awakening, the entire journey is about returning to that power within, from where it all began. Well, I realize it never really began, because it is that which has no beginning and no end. But this week, as I've thought about this concept of my soul is from elsewhere, and looking at these amazing photographs that are returning to us from Mars, while at the same time walking my dog at night, as we talked about in our class this week, and looking up into the clearest of skies that I've seen in Los Angeles in years, and seeing the stars that are out in that infinite sky as shown in this photograph with this description of Rumi here. It just reminds me, as I hope that it does you, of the infiniteness of that power that exists, that is beyond where the eye can see, literally as well as metaphorically. And so let's lean into that as the energy by which we cultivate within us for our spiritual awakening. Well, what is a spiritual awakening? To spiritually awaken is to remember that who and what you are and always have been is the infinite immortal sea of consciousness, one with all that exists, not as an intellectual understanding, but as a real and tangible experience and lifestyle. Think about it. That you are one with the same energy of this planet that's 340 plus million miles away from us, that we're now seeing through technology. We're processing that through the intellect, and yet we are one with that is transcendent of the intellect, which then leads us to the opportunity of understanding the interconnectedness of all of life in a new way, the oneness of life, the mysticism of life itself and every aspect of what's unfolding at the conditional, circumstantial, experiential level that you and I are navigating on a moment by moment, day by day basis. So then what are we called to do? Well, Rumi says we're called to be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between and beyond, that alone is a huge, huge calling for you and I to be grateful for whoever comes into our life because they've been sent as a guide from beyond. A guide for what? For us to remember who we are and that we are indeed one. No sooner had I got this slide prepared and reviewed it this morning before I took my beloved four-legged spiritual offspring Sweeney out for a walk. I rounded the corner. As I rounded the corner with a jacket on and her excited for the weather and the sun was shining, I had my mask on, I encountered the neighbor. We all have them. I wanted to turn and run because I know that she likes to corner me as she does others and talk incessantly about a multitude of things while moving from trash can to pilfer out what's in there. Obviously, that was a judgmental statement. I take that back. But she's now speaking to another neighbor of mine, and there's a dog in the mix of this, and I'm now concerned about whether there's going to be love interaction between the dogs and how am I going to navigate this tight sidewalk because there was a truck there and one wasn't wearing a mask. And I'm watching an interaction between these two ladies, and I know the other lady who's also a neighbor. And as I get closer, I see them embrace and hug, once again, one maskless, and immediately I moved into this state of judging what was transpiring. And as I said to them in a little bit of a gruff tone, excuse me, I just need to get through. They turned around and said, we're so excited. We're so excited. And I said, what are you excited about? And the neighbor that wasn't wearing the mask, who was just overjoyed, along with the neighbor who was not that neighbor, said, I found out just a moment ago that I'm tumor free. And this particular woman I know has been on this journey of cancer, and it's been very, very difficult for the last 7 years. Not the neighbor that I avoid, the other one. But yet the two of them had found this place of joy and connection and honoring each other as a divine, as a gift from beyond. And as I walked away, I thought to myself, yeah, dude, Rumi told you. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. And so as you and I, in this moment, continue to navigate my humanness with my divinity, it's important for us to remember that all that is transpiring in life has been sent to us as a guide from beyond, reminding us to remember who we are. Rumi tells us that if we're here to live from love and let love lead the way, that you have to keep breaking your heart open. You have to keep breaking your heart until it opens. That's the same for breaking open our awareness that love is all there is. We're here to give it, to receive it, to experience it, to express it. Not just love in that human way, but love is the self-givingness of spirit whose desire is to create more of itself out of itself. And the only way it can do that is through you and through me. And if you and I are here on this journey of finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, if we are here to evolve into a higher framework of consciousness, as Dr. David Hawkins tells us to do, to emanate a higher vibration, one that is more reflective of love, then we have to keep walking this path of breaking our heart until it opens. We have to become more in tune of who we are as a co-creator on this planet, meaning that we're here through our consciousness to co-create the experience that we desire. And on this journey, there's going to be breaking of hearts. Mine was broken this morning, metaphorically, through my judgment of others. And yet, it happened. And so through forgiveness, I can let go and let God, meaning let go and open up to the next step on the pathway of spiraling into a new vision for myself and my future, which is known as living in a state of conscious evolution. Dr. Barbara Marx Hubbard, who was the queen of conscious evolution, tells us this regarding the pathway of conscious evolution. She says, so the path of the co-creator is to be awakened spiritually within, which then turns into your own deeper life purpose, which then makes you want to reach out and touch others in a way that expresses self and really evolves around our communities and our world. Certainly, we can't do that unless we activate ourselves first. That's why, for me, she says, emergence is the shift from ego to essence. This is so important, she affirms. And so today I invite you to begin to ask yourself, what vision do you want to hold for your future as your heart continues to break open? What vision do you hold for yourself as you walk this path of being a co-creator and continually awaken to your spiritual nature? Jalad, Rumi, tells us in this quote, if you want the moon, do not hide from the night. If you want a rose, do not run from the thorns. If you want love, do not hide from yourself. If you want love, do not hide from yourself. In other words, be willing to confront yourself on your journey of finding your personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Be willing to confront yourself and ask yourself if you've been letting your spirit out to play. Have you been willing to love in both the human and the agape way? And are you willing to forgive yourself when you've placed transgressions upon yourself and let it go? Remember, we're told by Rumi that the key to life is knowing what to hold on to and what to let go of. Let you and I covenant and commit today to letting go of those self-judgments and judgments of others when they show up, and building a musculature of releasing judgment itself. Because Rumi tells us in one of his most famous quotes ever, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. We're being called here to meet other expressions of life, other sentient beings, other divine beings, which are all beings, in this field, not literally a field to sing Kumbaya, not that we can't do that in a couple of years, but metaphorically in this space where we are all interconnected, where we can step into a place of inspiring conscious evolution in all of humanity by expressing conscious evolution. In this article written by Evan Hirsch and Kip Baldwin that have a program and a project called the Venus Project, they tell us that to inspire conscious evolution, look at it from the perspective of imaginal cells inspiring imaginal cells, consciously evolving together. This field that Rumi is calling us to is a place where my imagination and your imagination meets, in that place of mind. And to begin to imagine, to vision, to be willing to be open to a new state of evolution for humanity and all sentient beings. They write in their opening article, we believe that the concept of conscious evolution can be a vehicle for collaboration, advancing our collective growth towards a world that feels more aligned with what's in our hearts, meaning the place that houses our love. When we make the conscious choice to evolve our thinking, our behavior, and our lifestyles will align to create more nurturing harmony for ourselves and the world around us. Conscious evolution feels like the best course for bringing about a healthier and more sustainable future for all. Conscious evolution explained. The current phase of our human evolution, The current phase of our human evolution began 150,000 or so years ago and stems from over 4 billion years of life emerging on planet Earth. Whether we are aware of it or not, we are evolving as we speak along with everything on Earth and the universe. Given the hyper development of technology and its exponential growth, our evolution is gaining speed in our own hands as we steadily move towards merging with the machines we've created. Now is our crucial opportunity to take the reins and shape what we become next. Conscious is defined as a deliberate and intentional act, being fully engaged and active, aware of oneself, our surroundings, and the impact we are making. Evolution is the infinite process through which the whole mass of interrelated phenomena in the universe are developing, through descent, leading to new, more complex biological, social, economic, and institutional forms. Let's hear that again and anew. Consciousness is defined as a deliberate and intentional act being fully active and engaged, aware of oneself, our surroundings, and the impact we are making. Evolution is the infinite process through which the whole mass of interrelated phenomena in the universe are developing through descent, leading to new, more complex biological, social, economic, and institutional forms. We are here to be more, more of what we already are. And we're here to be and play a part in this evolutionary process of what is transpiring on planet Earth, and to do it consciously. Barbara Marx Hubbard also tells us that each person who says, I know I can be more, I can do more, or the world does not have to be this way, is that imaginal cell in the emerging culture of humanity. Today, ladies and gentlemen, you and I are being called, not only in this modern day, on the 21st of February in the year 2021, in this modern world, to use our imaginal cells of humanity, but just as Rumi asked us to do that in the 13th century. Are you willing to say yes and to remember, as Rumi tells us, that what you seek is seeking you? Ernest Holmes says what you're looking for is what you're looking with and looking at. In other words, you are the very thing you seek to experience and express. And that you, as an imaginal cell of humanity, you're not a drop in the ocean of humanity. You're the entire ocean in a drop. And so let this new awakening be a guidepost for you to let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really, really love in life, of what brings you to this planet to express your divinity in a glorious way. We got to witness that glory being fully manifested this morning by means of James Harper and Arnae Batson. That imaginal cell that gives them the opportunity to share their light and their love is also within you and within me. Today's the day to tap into that and let it be the guide from within, the draw from within, to step into an imaginative place in mind, not only for yourself, but for others, that we may live life in this higher vibrational frequency of healing as a revelation. And so where do we begin? We begin by being grateful. Rumi says, be grateful for your life, every detail of it, and your face will come to shine like the sun, and everyone who sees it will be made glad and peaceful. Choose today as the day to move out into that leading edge of consciousness and be grateful. And know that, yes, there will be pain and hurt along the way. But Rumi tells us that what hurts you blesses you. Darkness is your candle. This week, one of my clients was going in for a final test to see if there was a disease in his body. And there was concern, and we had done a lot of counseling and affirmative prayer and work on this. And as he was headed out to his appointment, Spirit told me to write a poem for him. And I'm going to share that with you because I think it speaks to what the journey we're all on. And it's this in regards to the darkness within us. Upsy daisy, round and round, from the root of the tushy to the uppermost crown. Movement ensues, both up and down. The energy brings not nearly a frown. The ride is a journey with fun and a dive. Lad Mike's ecstatic, giving Spirit a high five. Today is the day, the countdown is done. No matter what's said, the mystery's now spun. Glory be to the highest for doing its part. Higher vibrations are alive, emanating from the heart. One step at a time is the charge from afar, and the inner responds, shining like the farthermost star. That's what we're here to do, is to shine like the farthermost star. And so today, let's begin in a state of gratitude. Rumi says, gratitude is the wine of the soul. Go on and get drunk. And to wear gratitude like a cloak, and it will feed every corner of your life. And if you say only one prayer in a day, make it thank you. Let your love lead the way. Thank you. Arnae now has a song for us to continue this journey of love.
As around the sun the earth knows she's revolving, and the rosebuds know to bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love's a cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always. As now can't reveal the mystery of tomorrow, but in passing we'll grow older every day. Just as all is born is new, do know what I say is true, that I'll be loving you always until the rainbow burns the stars out in the sky, until the ocean covers every mountain high, until the dolphin flies and parrots live at sea, until we dream of life and life becomes a dream. Did you know that true love asks for nothing? Her acceptance is the way we pay. Did you know that life has given love a guarantee to last through forever and another day? Just as time knew to move on since the beginning, and the seasons know exactly when to change. Just as kindness knows no shame, know through all your joy and pain, that I'll be loving you always. As today I know I'm living, but tomorrow could make me the past, but then I mustn't fear, for I'll know deep in my mind the love of me left behind, as I'll be loving you always until the day is night and night becomes the day, until the trees and seas just up and fly away, until the day that 8 times 8 times 8 is 4, until the day that is the day that are no more, until the earth starts turning right to left, until the earth just for the sun denies itself, until dear Mother Nature says her work is through. Until the day that you are me and I am you. That's how long I'm gonna love you. That's how long. Always. 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 I'll be loving you. Oh, I'll be loving you. Loving you always.
Oh, so elegant, so lyrical, so beautiful, just like you. I'll be loving you. I already have been loving you, girl. I'm just going to keep on loving you. So wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. What a great selection of both songs today. Thank you, Arnae. As we just bask in the love that's transpiring. Thank you all for being here today. And an opportunity to continue to express our love is now the time that we take in our service for conscious giving. And I will put on the screen the methods to do that, and to know that as you choose to give and support our community financially, love indeed manifests itself in a new way. And know that on behalf of the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles and our Board of Trustees and each community member and practitioner, we say thank you. You can go to our website, csl-la.org, and click on Donate, or our app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. That'll guide you through. You'll see the Donate tab, or mail in a check if you'd like to do that, or you can call me and I can handle it privately. Know that it's all honored and revered and respected and deeply appreciated. And so as we take a moment to do that, James will take us through our conscious giving song of Love is My Decision. James?
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, the source will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here, right now. Ooh.
Thank you, James. And I affirm for each of us that we stay in the flow of good, that abundance is our nature, and that the divine is always doing its part through us. This we celebrate and say together, and so it is. Thank you. And thank you to each of you. I want to share with you some exciting things that are happening here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. We're continuing this week with our class series called The Essential Earnest Homes. This will be class 4 of 8 classes. I am thoroughly enjoying this class and thoroughly enjoying preparing for this class and thoroughly enjoying each student that's in the class. If you would, you can take one class standalone if you would like, or the entire series of what's left of it if you haven't. But it's a great opportunity to take the information that I share on Sunday mornings and build upon that by using the writings of Ernest Holmes and many others to propagate us to begin to look at life from a new perspective, to begin to build that consciousness musculature that leads us into spiritual awakening, ultimately providing personal self-empowerment. It is a great tool for this. It's 6:30 on Wednesday evenings. It's 2 hours. You can join through Zoom. Just a very hearty environment for 2 hours of people that are here to grow and to learn and to share and to have fun and really revel in this teaching and learning more about it. We are recording these classes, and so if you were to miss the class or even after the class, you'll be able to access that through a Google Drive and watch it or listen to it on a later date as well. 6:30 to 8:30, it's $25. We are using the book, The Essential Ernest Holmes. You can get that if you'd like. That's not the most critical piece of the class, as I create a curriculum that's standalone for each class and send that out prior to the class. Also on Wednesday mornings, we're continuing with our morning meditations. That's from 8:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. It is on Zoom, but you don't have to turn your camera on if you haven't coiffed yourself or done your face. And even then, you're welcome to come on just as you are, because you're perfect, whole, and complete as you are. Those also are recorded. It's a 30-minute experience of anchoring ourselves into the day and the week. And then we move about the rest of our day celebrating our divinity. So please join us as we do that. A huge thank you to each and every one of you that became a part of our service this morning. Know that we celebrate you and appreciate you and revere you just as you are. Just a reminder to go to our website for any information that you would like to have regarding us or more. You can find a list of our practitioners there who are trained to work with you on a healing basis in mind. If you're interested in that, you can find their information on our website, as well as in the weekly e-newsletter that goes out the first part of the week. If you're not receiving that and you would like to, please sign up for that through our website. Also, a reminder that you can access all of this through our app in the App Store, as well as I invite you to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram Live, and our YouTube channel. A huge thank you to our support team this morning, Robert Hensley, who is supporting us through social media and monitoring the Facebook page today, as well as does all of our social media. I'd love to have you all following us on social media. Once again, if you're not, Robert also is our administrative assistant. A huge thank you to Robert, who is oftentimes in the background. You guys never get a chance to see him, but a big thank you to Robert. A big thank you to Travis Smith, who is our audio technician and just does a great job. And Travis, thank you, thank you, thank you. And also a huge thank you to our musicians this morning, both James Harper and Arnae Batson. You both just did an outstanding job, and we deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate you and respect you. So we're going to end our service today with a meditation. After the meditation, I will say a goodbye to those that have joined us on Facebook, and then the Zoom individuals can stay on, and we will say hello to everyone. So I invite you to take a deep breath in. And being an imaginative cell in action, each one of us, we go to that place that Rumi tells us exists. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. And we meet there together right now. And in this metaphorical space, whereby mind is connected and interconnected beyond the farthermost star, and yet in the innermost cell, we are one. And so we each use our imaginal selves to begin to see ourselves showing up in the world differently. Living from love. Being less judgmental. Honoring spirit. And committing to conscious evolution. And so we know and affirm this for ourselves. And we begin to invite into this field others as we know it for them. Remembering that television ad of I'd like to be in a world of perfect harmony as people just show up and show up and show up. We do the same with our imaginal selves right now, seeing humanity in a new way, being grateful for our guides as they show up. And walk in a higher framework of mind, of knowing what to hold on to and what to let go of. And so we feel ourselves letting go of those things right now. And as we lighten the load, we strengthen the soul. As we inhale together, 1, 2, and 3, holding. And exhale, further releasing, 1, 2, 3. We ready ourselves to meet and greet the day ahead, grounded and founded in our spiritual truth. Knowing that all is well. And we say together, and so it is.